Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. Today's video is going to be a first impressions on the Ordinary Colours foundation and the High Adherence Silicone Primer. I picked up both just very recently, so I thought I would just sit down on camera and do a first impressions with you to let you know kind of how it applies and what my first kind of thoughts are on the product. It's the foundation and the primer that I've got on today. We're going to look into the claims of the foundation and then see, based on first impressions, what I really think just off the bat. If you're new here and you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the family, it would be lovely to have you around. And if you're an oldie but a goodie, thanks so much for coming back. And if you're an oldie and a goodie and you haven't hit the subscribe button, I am fully judging you. Click it now, do it now, that's it. Okay, so I'm starting off with a clean face, and as usual, I've got my eyebrows done already. So the first product I'm going to go in with the High Adherence Silicone Primer by The Ordinary. So I'm just going to read out the claims from the website. This formula uses advanced adaptive silicones to act as a matte hydrating blurring primer for makeup that looks higher in definition and adheres for longer. The formula can also be used alone as a non-greasy hydrator that reduces the looks of pores and of imperfections. So it says to use it as a last step in skincare regimen, either on its own or as a makeup primer. So you get 30 ml of product in here. So I'm just going to go right in and put it on. So it says it's a silicone primer, so I'm guessing it's going to feel quite tacky on the skin. It comes in a package like that. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit at first just to see how it goes. Oh, okay, so it actually comes out in a white kind of liquid form, creamy form. Yeah, and it is definitely, yeah, it's got that kind of gel consistency. So I'm just going to put this onto my problem areas and then blend it out across the rest of my face. It doesn't have a smell, and it does feel quite smooth as you apply it. If this could work for me, honestly, I'll be so happy, because if it does the pore refining and the smoothing and the mattification, it will be literally all in one for an affordable price. So I'm just going to have a look in this mirror now and see. Oh, that feels so nice on the skin. My skin feels really soft. And yes, I can already visibly see that it's filled in a lot of the pores here that I have around my cheeks. And my skin feels so beautifully soft. It doesn't feel tacky, which I thought it would, but it doesn't feel tacky. Just super, super soft, and now it's kind of settled in my skin. I don't feel like anything is on there. So, so far so good, but of course we'll have to see how that goes on. So the next product is the Ordinary foundation. Now this foundation caused a massive stir on the internet when it launched, because first of all they launched 29 different shades in 2 formulations, and then it was a really cheap foundation. So people had already kind of been brought around to the idea of The Ordinary. I first heard about The Ordinary from Wayne Goss, and then I bought a couple of other skincare products before I got this. But getting hold of this foundation was so hard because everybody wanted it and it was so cheap, and then everybody kind of raved about it. So I've been trying to get hold of it, and I finally have managed to get around to getting it. So this is the Ordinary Colours Coverage Foundation, High Coverage Foundation Formula, and it's written on the front, full coverage, we'll see. And on the back it says a high coverage creamy foundation that softens undesirable hues. So it says to shake before use and dispense a small amount into the palm or back of your hand. Smooth and blend on throughout the face, ideally outward from the midpoint of the face. And then it says that it's fragrance free. So hopefully this shouldn't break anybody out, because it doesn't have any too much perfume or anything in it, because that's what usually can mess people's skin up. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. I got the shade 3.2N, which is part of the Deep line. So the way that they've categorized the foundations is that it's a couple of different categories, from very fair to deep. And I'm in the deep category, but my shade is 3.2N, which is a deep neutral. So looking forward to seeing how this works. So if you want to know what shade you are, they have, there is a chart that has been produced. I can't remember who by, probably Wayne Goss, I think, matching up matte shades to this foundation. So I'm MW48, and actually this 3.2N covers a wide range of MAC foundation, so I'm wondering how it's kind of going to work, if it can cover that many kind of MAC shades within one, just one foundation. So looks like that. The tube is plastic and fantastic. It's got a pump on it as well. Yes, and you get 30 ml of product in here. So I'm just going to shake it because they said to shake it well. It sounds quite liquidy. I'm going to apply this with a sponge, my Morphe Beauty sponge, and see how that comes out. I don't know whether I have to turn this lid, let's see. Yeah, maybe. Yes, you just have to turn the lid to get it to work. So I've done 1.5 pumps on the back of my hand. It's not as runny as I thought it was, but let's see how that goes on. Oh, okay. First dab, it's a good shade. It does look a little bit pink, but we'll see how that works in. I'm not using any color corrector, just because I really want to see how high coverage the formula is. Super lightweight. I can feel literally nothing on my skin. I'm gonna have to add on a little bit more. The challenge with a sponge is that it will eat up some of the product. But no problem. That's kind of to be expected. This has got good coverage. Just to give you a reference point, I have a beauty spot on my nose and I dabbed it like I do usually, just very lightly, and it's almost entirely covered up, and that is a super black mark. I don't know how they've made this feel so light, like it literally feels like nothing on my skin. So this formula is a little bit insane. This colour, it looks so good in my mirror. I don't know how it's showing up on screen, but in my mirror, it looks like second skin. Oh, it looks so good. I'm going to put on a teensy bit more, just to see I can just cover up some of these extra blemishes here. So I'd say you probably could do it your full face with about 2 pumps. And then if you've got particularly problematic areas, then literally I'll just dab it really lightly. So what I'm loving so far about this is, 1, that it feels like nothing. 2, the colour match looks great. So I don't know if I'm just lucky and whether this would work for other people within that bracket, according to the MAC shades, or whether it's just me and it was formulated and kind of works best for my shade. But I'm loving that so far. Just bring a little bit down to my chin. So what do you guys think? Let me just come a little bit closer. That's what it looks like so far. Yeah, looking in my mirror, that just looks fantastic. Yeah, so let me go ahead and do the rest of my face, and then I'll be back to give you my final review. Okay guys, so I'm back. I've done my full face. I'll make sure to leave all the details of what I've used on my face down below in case you want to recreate the look. But this is the finished look with the foundation. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I am really, really liking the look of how this foundation looks. I'm just going to look in this mirror here so that I can let you know what I'm seeing when I look at it, kind of not through the camera lens, but through a mirror, so like in real life. Really good match, colour match, I think, for me. Because it is neutral, when I was first putting the foundation on, I thought that it was a little bit pink. Which when I first put it on, I was like, this is not really gonna work. And it worked really well for the center of my face. But when it came to the edges, I had to work a little bit with bronzer and things just to make sure that that blends in really nicely. But the finished look is really, really good. It looks natural, not too golden, not too cool toned. I've set it with my Maybelline Fit Me powder, so that's dusted on just lightly on top just to kind of fully set it down. The foundation doesn't dry down to a really super matte finish. I'd say that it was more of a satin matte or demi matte. It's matte, but it's not like, you know, like super dry desert matte. So if you are worried about your face being too dry and it looking too dry, it doesn't do that. It looks really dry now on me. It looks really matte now on me just because I've set it with that matte powder because, you know, oily girl problems. The other thing that I really like about this foundation is the packaging. So it is a plastic bottle and a plastic cap. I love the fact that it's got a cap, of course, because that means that you can pump out just as much as you need and you don't end up having to decant lots onto the back of your hand and it becoming really messy. And so I really, really like that. And the plastic container, and I was so used to getting foundations in glass bottles, so I guess when you get a plastic one you're kind of like, no girl. But I think it's actually fantastic. I'm a klutz, like I drop stuff all the time. I'll fall over, I'll knock into stuff. I'll probably do a story one time about how many times I've fallen over, but seriously, I'm really, really clumsy. So dropping things, I mean, it happens on an almost daily basis. So if I was to drop this, I wouldn't be worried because it's plastic. So even if it hit the ground, it's not gonna hopefully shatter, and it feels like quite a flexible plastic. So I hope it's not the type that falls down and then gets a crack in it. The coverage of this, so it claims to be a high coverage foundation. I would say that it's not super, super high coverage. I would say that it's probably medium to full, so medium buildable. So I wouldn't necessarily go in and say that it is a full on high coverage foundation straight out of the bottle, but I found that it built up on top of itself really well, and I really like the finish that I managed to achieve with it. So love that. The primer, so it's a high adherence silicone primer, and when I first got it out of the tube, because it came out in a kind of white consistency, white colour, I was like, oh, this kind of feels like it's going to be a creamy kind of primer, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that. But as you started to kind of like work it into the skin, you could feel that it was silicone based, but then as you rub it in, it kind of started to settle into the skin. I was worried about it kind of sitting on top of the skin, because when I first started applying it, it did feel like it was just going to sit on top, but after rubbing it in and working it into my skin, I feel as though it really did manage to kind of sink in, and the foundation sat beautifully on top of it. So because this is the first impressions, I can't really tell you more than that about how it wears out through the day and whether it really helps the foundation longevity, but I will keep testing out both with this foundation and also with other foundations to see how that kind of works out. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it will perform in terms of oil control. So I'll be testing that out and I'll keep you posted. But I would say definitely that this is great for blurring. I mean, you can see just after you've put it on when you look in the mirror, and even when you touch your skin, that it is kind of like really smooth. So it's kind of like filled in all the pores and then giving you a really nice smooth base. So I found that the foundation went on really, really well on top of it, and I'll let you know about that. Yeah, so that completes this video. I'm hoping that you like this kind of video. It's kind of like a first impressions on these two products. Give the video a thumbs up and let me know if you would like me to do more of these kind of first impressions videos, and I definitely will. Leave me a comment down below, and of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I would love to have you as part of the family here. I'll make sure to leave all of the details of my finished look down in the description box, so if you're interested, please make sure to check out down there. Leave me a comment. I'm still taking ideas for videos, would love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.